What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. So after my last couple of videos, I've had a lot of comments, and listen, thank you to everybody for all the comments, and now the community's out there trying to redo the test, testing it out, and all that's great to try to figure out what's going on, if anything, with these guns with the alleged uncommanded discharges. This isn't going to touch on that so much as it's going to touch on one reoccurring question and statement I kept seeing on those videos was that the striker safety in this gun. Now, let me show you. This is, for those that don't know, this is the striker safety. Some people have said the striker safety in this gun is completely disengaged when you hit the pre-travel wall, when you hit the wall after pre-travel. So basically, for those folks that don't know, this is free travel, or take up, they call it, until you hit the wall. That's where you start feeling the sear go down. See that right there? Prior to that, nothing is happening except in this gun, the striker safety disconnect lever is moving with the pre-travel. Some people have made the statement and asked questions in the comments of my other videos. People have said the striker safety is completely disconnected as soon as you take up the pre-travel and hit the wall. Others have asked, is the striker safety completely disengaged in the pre-travel? And we're going to test that today. So I got all three guns here. And P.S. I did talk about a video I have not released it yet because it's long and people have the attention span of a wet noodle and they don't want to watch long videos. The first video, how do I know that? The first video I have is 40 minutes long. I even put a pre-video in there asking people to please watch the complete video. And according to my analytics, it's still like around 7 minutes. That is the average of what people watch. So they lose a lot of info, they lose a lot of context, and then they come in the comments screeching and stuff. So what we are going to do here, what we are going to attempt to test, and this is not a scientific test. This is just trying to answer the question for the folks that were in my comment section. Is the striker safety completely disconnected or disengaged, completely disengaged, allowing the pistol to fire as early as just the pre-travel? And we're gonna test that. Now, this gun is cocked. We're going to test. What we're going to do is we're going to use our handy dandy pencil. And for those people that don't know what the pencil trick is, I'm going to show you how it works. If you put a pencil, people could test this in their apartment or home if they don't have primed cases, because in the last videos I've been using primed cases. You could stick a pencil in here. Now this gun is ready to go. I'm not doing anything to manipulate it or whatever. And as you can see, it will fire the pencil out. That indicates that the striker has protruded past the breech face, which it's designed to do, and theoretically set off the cartridge with that pencil, because you saw the force, the striker hit the pencil and send it forward. It's a legit test. Try it. Gun guys have known about that stuff for years. Just stick the pencil in and that can tell you if the firing pin is working. But we're also going to test it with primed cases because sometimes primers are harder and it might not set them off. So just let me show you that this gun is working, that the safety, what we're testing here is the striker safety is working as it's supposed to. So what I'm going to do here is put the pencil in, and then I'm going to drop the safety without manipulating the trigger. There's the trigger, and this pencil should not move at all if this safety is working properly. Let me get in here. This is difficult to do on camera. There you saw the pencil did not move at all. The striker is dead, okay? So the striker safety caught it. Now, what I'm going to do is take the infamous wood screw. Here's the take up, right? You just saw me demonstrate that the striker safety is functioning in this gun as it should. There's the take up, right? Take up to the wall. I'm going to put this screw in and keep an eye on the trigger so you make sure that I don't move it at all. There we go. See? There we go. Stick it in there and just get it right to the wall till it stops. All right. It is right on the wall as best as I can get it. We're going to stick the pencil back in. Again, I'm not touching the trigger or anything like that. It is resting on the wall. It is not into the sear movement of it. Let me see if I can get this on. Of the firing sequence. Let's see if the pistol, if the pencil will move. So, based on that test, the striker safety is completely disengaged. It's my opinion that it's completely disengaged as soon as you hit the wall. Let's try it with the other pistols. Let's try it with the carry, okay? Now, we are going to test to make sure, so I show you that the striker safety is working as designed if the trigger is completely forward. All right, no movement on the pencil. Now, we take up the wall and put it in there. All right, I felt the resistance. It's just at the wall. The trigger did not move. It is resting on the wall. We put the pencil in. We bring it around here. Just testing if the striker safety is fully disengaged after just taking up the pre-travel. Get this. All right. There we go. Now let's try the M17. All right. Put the pencil in. All right. As you can see, it is charged. We got pencil. Put the pencil in there. Now let's test to make sure the safety is working as it's designed with the trigger at rest here. And again, I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just merely trying to answer the question for some people that theorized that the striker safety is completely disengaged with just the take up and nothing into the actual trigger pull between the sear and the striker. Okay, pencil did not move. Now, charge it again. There is the wall. Boom, I felt resistance. I'm feeling resistance right now. I am not putting this sucker in. You see, I'm not moving it at all. Right there. Okay, let's put the pencil back in. Let's test if this one is fully disengaged. And it moved. So, is that enough to set off prime cases? I have some. We're going to go in the garage. We're going to find out. But I have talked to several people that said their guns, they don't like the fact that the take-up and the pre-travel disengages the entire safety. That's their opinion. That's my opinion. I tend to agree with them. I don't like the fact that the take-up, just this light take-up right there, boom, you hit the wall and the safety's completely disengaged. Some people like it to disengage as far back in the firing process as possible, but that's just their opinion. And again, I'm not saying that this is a flaw with this gun. I am not saying that this is contributing to the alleged uncommanded discharges. I am just answering the question that some folks had, stating that with this amount of movement right here, the striker safety is now fully disengaged and ready to fire. That doesn't make them feel comfortable. So let's go out to the garage and see if we can get it to do it with some primed cases. Okay, folks, so we're out in my garage again. Yeah, that's real wood and that's sweet feed for my cows. And oh, to the people, he's using a green screen and AI. That's green screen dirt. Morons. So we have our 320. We're going to test it on this carry one first, okay? That in previous videos, I modified this here to take the leg off. I did not mess with anything else. This is a test gun bought to test the 320's in a trench coats video, but it does not it's not affected any other way, and I have the other ones, okay? If you're curious about that modification where you cut the leg off to simulate the early sear, but the sear shelf on this one's much, much shorter. Anyway, we have the pencil. We're gonna do the pencil test again, okay? All right. There's the take up. And again, I'm not saying this is a flaw. I'm not saying anything other than to test what people have said. People said the safety, people have made the statement, quite a few on all my videos about this, that the striker safety is completely disengaged with just taking up the pre-travel. So let's see. So you can see here, boom, there's the wall. I cannot move any farther back without starting to take up play in the sear. I want to get this in here. You're not seeing me move the trigger at all. All right. Damn it. Okay. I'm trying to avoid having these videos so long. People don't watch the whole thing anyway, and they get to screeching. Take up. Boom, wall. I feel resistance. All right. There. I have not moved it at all. It is at the wall. And of course, like I said before, this one and the M17 do not exhibit the same issues that the 45 P320 does, even when I take a millimeter up on it. And I have a video on that, but I made it so long and I ramble on. And anyway, I tend to do that anyway. All right, so we're gonna test the pistol first. I mean, the pencil first. Here we go. I'm gonna push down on the sear. Now let's try it again. Let me pick up the pencil. It might not, that might not be enough to set a primed case off. I don't know. We'll have to try it. I have some in my pocket. Here is a primed case. And for those people out there that don't know anything about firearms, to have a complete cartridge, when you have what a lot of people call a bullet, it's a cartridge. It takes 4 components, okay? Your ignition system, which is your primer, your brass, which holds all the other components, your propellant, which is the powder, and then you have the projectile on top, all right? The projectile is what flies out of the barrel and hits your target. The completion of those 4 components together are a cartridge. This is just a primed case. I'm a reloader. If you see my videos, I have 3 Dillon reloaders in my background of it. There you can see the inside, you can see the flash hole right there. Okay, there's no powder, no bullet, no projectile in there, no powder or projectile, just the case to hold the primer in there. If the primer goes off, it is an indication that if I had a live cartridge in there, it would go off. That's all it is. And it's safe so that I'm in my garage type of thing. All right. Let's put this in here. And again, all right. Oh, let me hold so people aren't like, conspiracy theory. Prime case, inside. All right, let me see if I can get primed case inside. All right, let me show you again. Primed case inside, all right? Now, again, maybe the cup on the primer, okay, let me do this again for, it's not gonna change, listen, me doing all this kind of stuff, this was just me trying to answer a question that some people were having, and this is not gonna change the SIG fanboys' opinion no matter what. And again, I'm not saying this is a flaw. I'm saying if we're able, according to the pencil test, you were able to get to the wall. Here he comes. I got this rooster that's a pain. He want to fight me all the time, and I'll fight him. I don't care. Dang it, this little fiddly. All right, there we are, to the wall, right? Make sure it doesn't fall out. Now we're gonna test it again with a primed cartridge. Make sure we're still on the wall. Yep. We have not gone into the... So that to me says that the striker safety, you see the primer went off. That to me answers the question that some people had, that the striker safety, at least on this particular pistol, is completely disengaged in just taking up the pre-travel. Let's try it on another one. M17. is the pre-travel, let me see, we'll try the pencil test. So I'll try to go to the bottom here so people, again, it's not going to matter to SIGers, you know. All right, boom, there's the wall. Just holding it right at the wall. That's it. Try the pencil test. I don't know if this will work on every gun. We tried it on, I mean, if it'll set the, what I mean is I don't know if it'll set a primer off on every gun because this one hit it kind of weak. Maybe that's something. Yeah, see, that one was weak. That one might not set a cartridge off, okay? Let's see if it, what the heck was that? That was the fire case, sorry. All right. Primed case. That one didn't seem to shoot the pencil as far. We got it in there. Whoop. There it is. All right. Go up to the wall. All right, we're at the wall. Will it set the primer off? Is the striker safety completely disengaged at this point on this pistol? We shall see. Let me see if I can get... Yeah, it is. So there's two. Set it off. All right. Let's try, that one was loud. Let's try the 45. Again, we'll try it with the pistol. All right. To the wall, to the wall. I'm not actually moving the sear at this point. This is just answering the question. I am not saying this is a fault or a flaw with this gun. I am not saying this is the cause of any alleged uncommanded discharges. I am not claiming any of that. Again, this is not a scientific test. What I am saying is I'm simply attempting to answer the question because some people have said in my comments after my first video that they feel, according to them, it is their opinion and they feel that it is a flaw with this handgun that the striker safety is completely disengaged by just taking up the pre-travel in the trigger, okay? Now, I personally, if that's the case, and it has been with the two I have so far, I'm going to test it with the third, that I tend to agree. I do not like the fact that the safeties are completely disengaged, or safety, after just taking up the pre-travel and not getting into any of the take-up of the sear. Now let's see if, okay, so it did it with the pencil. Will it do it with a live primed, let me pick up the pistol, primed cartridge? All right, that's what we're attempting to find out. Let me grab a 45 here and see. All right, we have a 45 primed cartridge, as you can see. I'm going to stick it in here. There it is, 45 primed cartridge. All right. Again, I'm only using the screw as a placeholder. There is, let me go down here. So there is the take up. Boom, wall. That is where I would start disengaging the sear. If, it's going to be all fiddly on me. Again, take up, disengaging, placeholder. There we go. All right. It's just on the wall. The best I can get it, as soon as I feel resistance, I hold it there, put this in as soon as I feel it right there. It didn't move did not move the sear at all. Now let's see if we can do it with this gun. So in my opinion, based on this rudimentary non-scientific test, the people that said the safety is completely disengaged on just the pre-travel, kind of have a valid claim. Now, my opinion personally, my opinion on this whole situation, being the guy in his garage, as some people say, you don't got an engineering degree, bro. No, I don't. I'm a tinkerer. I'm a shooter. I was a competitor for 30 plus years, pretty well versed in firearms, okay? My personal opinion, for me personally, I only speak for me, and it is my opinion. My opinion is that the striker safety is in fact completely disengaged, all right, with just the pre-travel. I do not feel that, I am not saying that is a flaw. I am saying I do not feel that that makes that handgun safe. I feel like that feature or design or whatever, again, I'm not saying the guns are damaged. I'm not saying this is why that contributes to the uncommanded discharges. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying this is a scientific test. I'm saying for me personally, I do not feel that those are safe handguns with just that amount of pre-travel and your safeties are completely disengaged. If it was, I would feel safer if the safeties were disengaged at almost the very last possible moment before the striker goes home and strikes the cartridge. That's just my personal opinion. All right, guys, more SIG content. Again, this stuff just keeps piling on every day. And for everybody that, thank you to everybody that has left comments and is doing new testing and all this other stuff coming out. This is, maybe we can, as a community, help out and at least get close to figuring out what possibly, allegedly could be going on. So there it is, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.